So I define groundedness is a sense of inner strength, stability, and wholeness, out of which a more joyful, situated striving can emerge. So I want us all, myself included, to more often than not be the mountain climber that is truly where they are, enjoying the journey, performing well, but feeling really good on the way up to that peak. I do not want us to be the mountain climber that is compulsive about reaching the peak, that is so anxious about reaching the peak, that is so worried about reaching the peak. So being grounded along the side of a mountain is really important versus feeling unmoored. And I think that so many people in today's culture feel unmoored. They feel like they are just swept up in this frenetic energy of bright and shiny objects and one thing to the next and restlessness and exhaustion and burnout. And how do I possibly keep up? It can feel like there is no solid ground upon which you're standing. There is no foundation. So groundedness is that foundation. And the 6 principles that support that foundation are to accept where you are to get where you want to go, being present to own your energy and attention, being patient to get there faster, embracing vulnerability to build genuine strength and confidence, building deep community, and moving your body to ground your mind. And for each of these principles, it's not enough just to know them or to understand them, but then we actually have to do them. So in the book, I call this the knowing-doing gap. First, you need to know something and understand its value, but then you actually need to figure out how to do it in the world, how to practice it. And I think that so many books in this genre, perhaps some of my earlier work, can fall short on the doing part. And in this book, I really try to hold every single page of the book to, does it close that gap? Am I helping readers not only know something, but am I also helping them be able to take action in the real world to have a positive impact on their life? What is fascinating, but not surprising about these 6 principles of groundedness is that they are very much contrary to the current ethos. So instead of accepting where we are, the current ethos tells us to delude ourselves, to engage in magical, overly optimistic thinking. If something is challenging, we're supposed to consume our way out of it, or perhaps even worse, numb it with substances. The current ethos is all about constant novelty and stimulation and distraction. It is harder than ever to be present, yet presence is where we find fulfillment and peak performance. The current ethos is all about speed and hacks and moving fast and breaking things, when the research is so clear that patience is actually so key to progress. The current ethos is about invincibility and being tough. And if you're going to be vulnerable, perhaps doing it in an overly performative way, when the truth is that real vulnerability ought to feel hard when you're doing it because it is hard. The 5th principle, build deep community. When we become so obsessed with optimization and efficiency and outward performance in the metaphorical peak of the mountain, what tends to get crowded out first is the time and energy that we could use forging deep bonds and relationships and belonging. Yet, the most important thing for our life satisfaction is having those bonds. And then the 6th principle, moving your body to ground your mind, asks, why have we been so caught up in a brain-based model of self, where we think that all good ideas and all emotions live in here, when in fact, wisdom, research, and practice shows us that we are mind-body systems, and we cannot think of the brain as disconnected from the body.